What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, I'm going to show you absolute and certain proof that trillions of dollars will be running through the XRP ledger and the next generation financial system will be built on Ripple and XRP. This is one of the most exciting developments I've seen in a while. When it first came across my eye, I literally could not believe it. It makes me so bullish on everything in store for the future and lets me know that we are perfectly positioned in the digital asset that is going to transform our entire financial system. Make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video. You will not believe this. Despite that though, we still do have one road bump in the way, and that's the SEC. They just filed a brand new motion in this case, and guys, it gets worse and worse for the SEC as this thing drags on. I'm going to show you guys what they're trying to argue this time, and it is gonna baffle you. The SEC has now done a full 360 on their arguments in this case. It's almost impossible to take them seriously at this point, but the good thing is we're not taking them seriously, and I don't think the court is going to either. In this video, I'm going to show you guys what all the different lawyers are saying about the SEC's most recent motion. This is something you guys need to see because it's going to let you know where Ripple sits in this case right now and what we expect the next big filing to be going forward. If you guys are new to this channel or come here all the time, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it means so much to me. If you guys are ever looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, definitely let me know what you think of the new intro. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not completely sold on it yet, but I think it's better than the old one. So definitely let me know about that. Let's jump into it though. And first, I want to let you guys know what's going on and what this filing is about. Pretty much it's the SEC once again trying to not hand over the Hinman emails. This filing specifically from the SEC was them trying to say that they should not hand over the Hinman emails because they're covered by attorney-client privilege. So leading up to this filing by the SEC, most of the lawyers following this case were already pretty bearish on the SEC winning this argument. And the main reason being was because the SEC had already stated themselves and Bill Hinman in his deposition that the Ethereum free pass speech was all his personal opinion. Now the SEC later tried to 180 on this because they knew it was going to get them into a lot of trouble later in this case, but the court already came out and stated the issue was settled. The speech was Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and that's the way it's going to be in this case going forward. Therefore, most of the attorneys following this case came out and said, well, if it's all Bill Hinman's personal opinion, then any of the guidance he was given by the SEC lawyers cannot apply under the attorney-client privilege. And the reason for that is because Bill Hinman, according to the SEC and Hinman's deposition, was giving the speech in terms of his personal opinion. Now, that doesn't have to do anything with the SEC and the SEC lawyers, and therefore the attorney-client privilege cannot be used to protect Bill Hinman from the things the SEC lawyers told him, because in that time giving that speech, Bill Hinman was not doing it for the SEC. He was doing it on his own personal accord. Now, it's very important to point out that the Ethereum free pass speech being Bill Hinman's personal opinion is a huge issue for the SEC, and that's why they very quickly tried to 180 on it and go back to the court and say, no, it was actually SEC guided. Now, luckily, the court did not buy that and said, no, Hinman already said it was his personal opinion, that's settled. But now the SEC is trying to play a middle ground because they know they are in huge trouble. And I'm going to save you from reading this legal talk, but pretty much what the SEC is trying to say now is they're trying to go out and say, look, even though the speech was Hinman's personal opinion, the process of drafting the speech involved the SEC lawyers, and that wasn't his personal opinion. So they're trying to say the drafts for the speech were SEC guided, but as soon as Hinman gave the speech, it suddenly became his personal opinion. Now, before we even get into what the different lawyers are saying about this, I want to give you guys my quick opinion, and that is that this will fail miserably, and not because it's necessarily a horrible argument, but mostly because the SEC is simply making it up as it goes. This was not their argument from the start, and that was very clear. The SEC has constantly changed their argument based on how the litigation has gone, making it very easy for them to pivot their strategy based on the rulings of the court. Now, the important thing to note here is the court is going to eat this up. They are going to realize that the SEC is simply changing their arguments based on how the litigation is going and never had a solid story from the start. I think it's becoming all too obvious to the court now that the SEC is simply trying to win this case via gamesmanship and doesn't actually have any solid evidence or any solid facts to why their position has been correct from the start. I really do think this is going to come back to bite them because this court has been so fact-driven thus far, have been so on top of the facts stated in this case. I don't think there is any way they're going to allow the SEC to pivot between arguments like this, and I just think it's going to be so obvious that the SEC is simply changing their story based on the different rulings in this case. Now, I want to show you what Jeremy Hogan said about it because I think it's spot on. He said, "I'm not sure if this brief by the SEC arguing attorney-client privilege is laughable or genius. As with most things in life, the winner gets to decide how history treats this brief." And then he goes on to say, "First, the SEC argued that the speech was Hinman's personal opinion. Then, after the judge agreed with them that it was Hinman's personal opinion, they changed their argument to say that the speech was the division's opinion. Then they argued a difference between giving the speech in a personal capacity and his personal views. Then, after Ripple changed its argument based on the court's ruling, they accused Ripple of getting confused. And last of all, concluded with the zinger below. The SEC had a sort of joint interest in the speech, meaning that the SEC helped draft the speech, but then once Hinman gave the speech, it magically became his personal opinion." And then says, "Will Judge Netburn see through this artifice? Only time will tell." And artifice essentially means cunning or sneaky tactics to try to deceive someone. So very clearly, Jeremy Hogan does not think what the SEC is doing right here is in any way ethical, and essentially they're just running around their own arguments, trying to trick the court to try to get a ruling in their favor at any cost possible. It doesn't matter for the SEC if they have to change their argument. It doesn't matter if they have to lie. They want to win at any cost, and that's what I think is going to come back to backfire on them. And Attorney Fred actually responded to Jeremy. He said, "You summed it up perfectly with the last question. If Judge Netburn is willing to review/remember this long, arduous saga, then Ripple wins. If she's too overloaded with cases, takes the SEC's bait, or is pro-government agency generally, there could be disappointment." So it seems like both Fred and Jeremy are on the same page here. They believe as long as the court does their job properly, goes back and reviews how many times the SEC has flip-flopped on this argument, there is no way the SEC should win this. Now, the SEC is playing dirty. They are cheating. They are changing their arguments. So we need the court to review the facts and look at this and say, no, you cannot win this with gamesmanship. You have been changing your argument. You are clearly not confident in your case, and therefore Ripple should be provided these emails because they in no way are protected by the attorney-client privilege. I really do believe that's what's going to happen. The judges have been on top of it to date, and I don't think they were going to let this slide. Now, guys, I wanted to quickly show you this because the court has actually ruled on a very similar issue to the one we just talked about, and I just want to show you guys that's going to give you some more confidence in these judges because I think it's really important, and it is going to show you that it is very likely that the court calls the SEC out for their flip-flopping and does not fall for this one bit, but I want to show you guys some proof to make you more confident. So Rath Economan responded to this filing and he said, "Good to hear. I was confused about reading their constant reversals." And I responded to him and I said, "It doesn't matter what the lawyers say. Nothing a lawyer says can be evidence. Hinman's deposition said it was his personal opinion and the judge has already accepted that. The SEC lawyers are now stuck trying to fight their own evidence and failing. And I want to show you this, and this came from the last DPP decision, the last time the SEC tried to claim privileges over these emails, and this is what Jeremy Hogan took away from it. He said basically, yes, she's saying there were no SEC deliberations taking place in the emails because everyone was just discussing Hinman's own personal opinion, and so no deliberative process privilege to apply. She didn't allow them to back out from the narrative they wove. So right here in a past ruling, just a couple weeks ago, the court had already said it doesn't matter if Hinman was talking to all these different attorneys about the speech, it was still his personal opinion, and therefore the process of drafting it is also his personal opinion. It doesn't seem like to me there is any way the court is going to come back and now rule that the draft process was covered by attorney-client privilege, because she has already made it clear in this case the process of drafting the speech was also Hinman's personal opinion, and it seems like the court is on top of it. I think the SEC fails on this one, and I think they fail miserably. Guys, I want to finish this video though and switch topics and show you something that actually blew my mind. This was crazy and just made me so bullish on Ripple and XRP. It's so nice to forget about this BS case once in a while, and this shows you that huge things are happening behind the scenes regardless of the SEC. This is out of Documenting Ripple. He said, boom, Swift is collaborating with Capgemini to use crypto for cross-border payments. Capgemini sees Ripple and XRP as a solution. The world will run on XRP, and take a look at this. This was a tweet from Swift today. We are collaborating with Capgemini to explore how Swift can interlink with multiple domestic-based CBDC networks emerging worldwide to make cross-border payments with digital currencies more seamless and frictionless. And then let's take a look at what Capgemini put out back in 21. Companies like Ripple and its XRP protocol are already being touted as the next phase of transformation in the global remittance service market. Platforms like Ripple have the potential to reduce settlement times from days to seconds and provide savings, noted the global financial behemoth Credit Suisse. Guys, Swift is literally telling you that they just teamed up with Capgemini, who is extremely bullish on Ripple and XRP, to solve cross-border payments in a world of CBDCs. This means trillions of dollars will be flowing across the XRP ledger using the XRP you and I own. If you ever had any questions of what digital asset was going to be used to transform the financial system, you should not have any more questions. Swift is the biggest remittance company in the entire world, moving trillions of dollars of value every year, and it looks like Ripple and XRP are going to be an integral part of their upgrade. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I really hope you enjoyed this update. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. And for now, Mickle out.